Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey Maureen, hey everyone, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is energetic alignments and avoiding entrapments. Oh boy, these are important. Brian, how often do you align your energetic centers?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I was thinking about that. We have the the chakra um meditation from Dr. Joe I used to do, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I haven't done that in a long time, and so it reminded me to do it. So I did it recently, but I do it fairly regularly. I tell you though, I know you gave me this gift that checks your chakras, and I do tend to be pretty open, so I don't seem to have a lot of blockages for whatever reason. So, but it is something to definitely, depending on each person, you might need to do it more regularly than others.
Yeah, so I have to just tell everybody, our listeners, Brian is amazing. Years ago, I found this from a Louise Hay conference. I found this chakra clearing kit, and it was from this woman who was blind, but she could see auras. And so it has seven stones for the seven chakras, and then it has corresponding um, essential oils, and you use a pendulum, and you can clear your chakras. And every time I'm at Brian's house, I'll ask him to bring him out. His is always perfectly clear every single time, which I wish I could say the same thing for me. So God bless you, Brian. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone, you've got your certain talents. I guess I don't know. I don't know either. I can't explain it, but yeah, I'm happy that that's the case. Um,
Yeah.
So this first one was from going back a little bit, September 15th to 2024, and on cosmic energies, and then they also get into numeric codes. But it says, hello, our warmest love and deepest regard for you and your brother. We are pleased and delighted to hear from you. You come forth clear headed and rightly directed, which sounds good. We wish to forewarn of the loving energies of the central sun, which make their way to your planet in a fruitful abundance of showers. And I know we've talked about the central sun before, but I don't really have a great understanding of it. But anyway, it says these rays shall right the wrongs and power your coming, power the energy of your coming days. The human council meets to consider the implications of the inbound material. No one can know for sure except that the one that forecasted results will be, and I'm not sure what if I lost something there, but anyway, we make contingent examples of what may occur so that we may be best suited for the proper alignment of energetic codes within the humanic frame. Um, so that was the subject of like the central sun. Maureen, what do you make of? So it's this other energies that are coming through. And I don't know what do you make about that?
Well, again, I just think it's really interesting, and the one sentence that maybe it wasn't clear when I was channeled. It was they were what they were saying was that no one can know for sure except for the one, the creator, the all, what will happen. But it's so interesting that the human council is meeting to consider the implications. And again, I just have to go back to our news, which is focused on stuff that doesn't matter. And this sounds pretty important, that we've got new loving energies from the central sun coming forward to the earth, which is probably why this is supposed to be such a time of transformation. Don't you think?
Yes, right. Um,
Yeah, so more light, more love for all of us. Um, so I'll go on and they go on to say, we make contingency examples of what may occur so that we may be best suited for the proper alignment of energetic codes within the human frame. For now, we once again turn to the ever-present subject of mathematics. For what is one without examining the basis for all that is? If you were looked upon your glorious physical frame within the finer details, you would be amazed at the amalgamation of multiple sources of impact material. All of these materials have numeric code, which from a distance can be seen from beings such as ourselves. In this way, the ancients could reduce the figure point of the ascended figure into a numeric code for others to see. However, this was rarely done. We wish to resume this practice, and we shall begin forth with regards to educating certain personages on the elemental natures of such a wise practice. So, Brian, it sounds like they can look at us and we all have like a numeric code associated with this. Is that your understanding?
yeah, that's what it sounds like. I don't know. Um, so it's just looking at someone, it's sort of like an aura, but you could see the numeric code and then determine a lot about that individual based on the numeric code. So um, that would be interesting.
Yeah, and the other thing that I get from this, so I'm in Cusco right now, and boy, this is like a ground zero for seeing things. And the other thing that I think about with all the stuff that I'm seeing right now is that like we always think of ourselves as humans as just ourselves, like just our physical beings. But I can see all these beings who are surrounding us, who and the light that's coming around us, and it's like you're not just yourself. And so I think that that's what they're indicating too. Do you get that in this channeling, Brian?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think so.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important, like who you're spending your time with, where you're spending your time, what you're spending your time doing with, because of the energy of all of those activities, those places, those people, because we are porous beings and it all comes into us. And I'm really seeing that. I'm really seeing in Cusco, I'm really seeing that as a basic tenet, a basic truth.
And just to be clarified, so tell people where Cusco is.
Oh my gosh, people, run, run, book your next trip here. Cusco is this is my third trip to Cusco and it's in Peru. And I don't understand why, I don't understand how, but this is really every time I come here, it's a very sacred place. And I was telling Brian, the last time I was here, I was up at one of the sacred sites, and there's so many on the top of the hills that surround Cusco. And I was looking into the sacred valley, and it honestly, to me, it looks like looking into Oz, like it kind of like it sparkles, and I don't really understand what's going on here, but to me, I was telling Brian before we started recording, like to me, this is like the Yucatan. It's like Egypt. If you're interested in sacred places, like it's some place to come and spend my time. This is my third time in Cusco, and I was telling Brian I'm probably gonna come back next year or the year after because just to be in these like sacred spaces and to be able to see and experience these mystical experiences which are such a gift, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you want to go on with topic two, which is reunification of energies? Yes, we need that.
Yeah, so they said we come bursting forth to greet our beloved pair, brother sister pair. Who are we? You may recall earlier we visit as we introduced ourselves with a name you could not, it was an unpronounceable, unrecognizable name. But anyway, we hail to this circle, the loving circle, which radiates your being to magnify the glorious nature of one's own initial divine incarnation is to allow one to multiply within your heart and being. We notice that you and your brother have come together within the same physical location. We rejoice with this unification. Physical contact, although not necessary, accelerates the energies within one's beings. Imagine a magnet being pulled to a source of metal. This is what can happen when the physical bodies come within a limited confined space. We return to the analogy of the magnet. This is to bring unified souls within the circle of the one, re-energize and reunifies the bonds between two separate beings. It's like crossing a river. Once you've surmounted the challenge, you rest within the greater glory of the one. Now is the time to recoup the energies expired, and um, during this past annual term. So they go on to give another analogy, but let me pause here. What do you think of this first analogy?
Yeah, it's interesting. So this was clearly a Christmas time, so where we were together. And so it is interesting. And I think that's something that you can feel, even though Brian and I communicate on a regular basis, being in the same physical space, you could feel that that accelerates the energies of one being. Um, so yeah, but I didn't really understand this. So then they go on to say that of course they're checking in with me and they're like, you do not fully grasp our analogy. One moment as we search for another comparison. So they said, okay, say you have your bodily vessel is a bottle, a glass bottle filled with your favorite beverage, which for me is sparkling water. Your brother's bottle is whatever beverage he prefers. You see these bottles up on a counter. Based upon the time you've been apart, the bottle may have been depleted. Yours may be a quarter, his may be half, vice versa, it doesn't matter. Bringing your energies together refills and equalizes the bottles. So our bodies. So isn't that interesting, Brian? It does go to show you like that we do need to connect on a physical basis on a regular on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that either. I thought, just via Zoom and stuff, it's the same, but I guess not. So it is. I thought that was a good analogy that they gave here. So, yeah, and it's interesting because you probably can relate to this too. They say you may notice when you reunify with an old friend, it takes 5 minutes or 10, 15 minutes before you get into rhythm with someone you easily associated with in the past. You could, if you could see the energy flow, you would notice, you would observe the phenomena we are explaining to you now, which is interesting. So you could, if you could see this energy, you could see, maybe misaligned, and then after a certain time talking or whatever, you get aligned and in rhythm with each other. How do these energies get depleted? It's a natural attrition process from important relationships in your culture that require physical contact. The technologies of your cellular devices allow similar alignments. However, physical contact is always best. It's in this manner that the energies can properly align between two disparate beings. You're not aware of this process, but occurs nonetheless. So, I mean, it's funny. There's so much we're not aware of, like that I'm constantly learning about, but this is just another one of those. So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it makes perfect sense. It
it
makes
does.
perfect
Yes,
sense.
yes.
You can, we can't see the energies aligning. We can't see that bottle being filled when we come together, but it's, you can absolutely see that. Yeah, so that's important. And Brian, I'm actually now rethinking. Yeah, I was thinking of skipping visiting you in October, but I'm like, oh, I might have to add a visit to come see you because that is important. And I've known that with my children. Like it's really important for me to like have that physical contact and with our mother. So that is really interesting. Thank you for bringing this to my attention because, we bring in so much material and it honestly, it's through these podcasts that they come back to the forefront of my mind. I know for you it's the same, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's trying to make sure we don't lose. I know, again, we're still going to be publishing everything, but it's just, you know, the
There's so much.
there's so
There's
much.
so much. Yeah. There's so, and which is a blessing, blessing, blessing. We're
It
grateful,
is, yeah.
grateful, grateful.
Yes.
But yeah. So I'll go on with the next one, which was more recent from March 3rd of this year. This is really interesting on Earth Entrapments. We delight in the opportunity to partake in the sharing of opportunities knowledge bases, for we garner much from our discussions with you. We regale the delightful opportunities to watch you traipse through your reality, which is just really funny. Like they're having enjoyment watching me traipse through my reality. What does your world look like from above or below? Quite different from the optical views given from your eye lenses. We have the capacity to see much more than the average human. Those who rise above are able to garner more light, which affords them better views. Who would turn down an opportunity to see clearer, see better, see more? Rise above every moment of your lives and breathe in an opportunity to rise above the gentle flowing planes of your holistic reality. The entrapments that humans face are numerous. So I'll stop there because they're going to go into the entrapments. So isn't that interesting, Brian? We're always taught to like embrace more love, embrace more light, and that actually rises us up above. So it changes our perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Which is the one thing that I think we've talked about before, but you can't watch the news media. There's so much positive going in the world that could just, of course, never gets mentioned or reported on. So I think, with all this light and love and all these changes happening, it's people aren't aware of it because they focus on what's on the news, which is always the negative aspects of humanity. Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah, and my model is always trying to think of like the enlightened ones who've come before us, like Jesus or Buddha or a monk in a mountain, how would they respond? How would they respond to a situation? And it's always from a higher place of love, which is the goal. But I'll go on. They go on to these entrapments that we face. We shall list the entrapments in descending order. The primary focus of negativity swirls in the realm of divisive politics. Okay, who can't agree with that? Recordings of these divisive events, whether they may be political arguments or the escalations of physical violence, should be avoided. Only send light and love to these particular situations. Responding from a place of self-love, not which incurs. I don't understand this one. Responding from a place is not of self-love, which incurs fear and defense. In these peculiar situations, but in a higher form of universal brother sisterly love. Okay. So they don't want us to come from a place of self-love, which includes fear and defense, but come from a place of brotherly and sisterly love.
Yep.
What do you think about that, Brian?
Um, but it's interesting because so I mean, more the self-love is more the ego, I guess. Is that what they're saying in the fear and defense, and more of a higher type of love? Is That's how I'm understanding that. Would you agree, or is that?
Yeah, I would agree. They said the next opportunity is with regards to fingernails to dig one's hold into a particular situation, grasp a hold which does not serve the individual self. There is no need to grasp, instead, float freely. See yourself floating freely through the energetic planes of this so-called experience. The nails, we bemoan the nails, no digging in. Dig yourself out of your peculiar situation. So what they're really telling us is to go with the flow and to trust that everything that happens is for our benefit and to not to try and stay how things were in the past.
Yeah, yeah. And then so then they go on, they loved giving their analogies. And so they give analogies around tomatoes. They are perfect spheres on the outside. Inside holds a wealth of flesh and seeds. The same is true for the human. The glossy exterior holds, the same for the human. So often a messy interior, but the seeds, the germinations for many opportunities yet to be taken are there. So we discourse more on these unusual topics not often discussed within the human realm. We find it curious what engages human thought. All are beautiful when we gaze upon you. We liken our beings to string beans. We are long and narrow. Our seeds are fewer than those of your tomato selves. So they're like string beans and we're like tomatoes. Interesting. Um, Giving us less opportunities, but more of a generalized focus. We rarely encapsulate human form in the human form as it is cumbersome to bear the weight of this dense gravity, which we hear a lot. We prefer to float freely through the etheric space of your holographic reality as um, you are doing now. So this is, I guess, when you're talking to them, you're in that type of situation. That is the floating sensation you so often feel. We regale you with more histories of our long forgotten planet. We do not care for the name and number your scientists or astronomers have signed to our home planet. I think we've talked about this before, but maybe not. We prefer to by call it a different by its proper name. So is the scientists, they number these or whatever these planets, um, and then they don't agree with that, which, I was thinking, how did they? I'm sure they don't like, there's some company out there that you can buy someone's this planet out there and name it for someone, and you get a certificate. This is, Maureen's planet or something. So I'm sure.
That happened to me, brother. And yeah, I used to work for GlaxoSmithKline, and I was at a sales meeting, and which we were all in tears. The BBB of the sales had this whole spiel that we were all his stars. There were like 2,000, 3,000 reps. And he bought each one of us a star. So there is a star with my name on it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm one of those. But yeah, I came back and I was telling people about it, but you had to be there. And they were like, that sounds really strange. I can't believe you could buy. But yeah, in that moment, like all of my coworkers, we were in tears.
Uh, but what do you think that we're tomatoes? Uh, I guess that sort of makes sense.
Well, I think that's brilliant because
Yeah.
we have so many opportunities. I mean, there's so many opportunities that are there for us. And um you may not realize it, especially if you're stuck in a routine, but there's so many opportunities that you have with each day, and each day presents a new opportunity. And I think that's the gift of us. I mean, they say that they have more focus because they have fewer seeds, but we do. There's so many seeds that we can germinate and so many different directions that we can go. So yeah, I think that that's a real blessing. But I do think it's funny. I mean, I understand the analogy perfectly, but they're string beans and we're tomatoes.
I know it's interesting. All right. Well, I added one th final thing for closing, and this was I thought really interesting. It was on Awakening in Unity from March 5th of 2025. But it says our planet is under reconstruction as we hail mighty worlds to search for the ultimate presence of the one. So I just got to stop right there. Now, currently I'm in Chicago, which would they always say is there's two seasons, winter and construction. But have you ever heard of a planet being under reconstruction? This is like I am trying to fathom what that looks like, but I can't really fathom that. It's never heard of a planet getting reconstructed. I've heard of planets being destroyed and unlivable and things like that, but I, it's really threw me for a loop. What do you think about that, Maureen?
I cannot imagine it either. I really it's got me stumped. So but
Well,
yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I'll go on. They say, do you know that some planets emit more light than others? We search for the heavens for those that are closest matched to our current vibratory status. And this is as if you were to search for a new home after having a bunch of children. What once served your circumstances no longer would suffice. The same is true with regards to our planetary existence. Earth offers many opportunities for us. We like the diversity of beings and are proud to be part of the Earth Federation. Okay, which I got to stop right there. Who even knew there was an Earth Federation? And then they end by saying, we like the multiple of opportunities to serve the many who are rightfully awakening to this joyous call of the one's desire to unite with all. Yeah, Brian, that you're leaving with us with something to really think about, huh?
yeah, yeah, the Earth Federation. Now I know there's because they've mentioned in the past that Earth's beings are not on these. I don't know if this the Earth Federation or these councils and things like that, and it's we're represented by the archangels, but that's going to change, and there's are that we're going to be able to be participate on these type of things. So that's should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
So anyway, lots to think about with this one. Thank you, brother, for putting this together.
all right, great to be with you, Maureen, and we'll look forward to talking with everyone next time.
Thanks, everybody.